Okay, we have that cap kind of cut out. Now, the one I want to share this with you because I think you need to know this. When you're doing this project, it is important to have some gouges and tools. Normally I do everything with a knife, but I just didn't think it looked right without that cap being hollowed out. And you know, you can go to any supply house and they should have, or carving supply house. It's called Dockyard, and this is a this is a G, a gouge number 5. Okay, so in here I went to a smaller gouge, and this is all going against the grain. Okay, you're on the end grain, what they call the end grain is the very end part of the wood. Okay, your grain is running up and down, but this is where it all this is the end of it. Well, where we're carving is also end grain, and it's a little more difficult to do. So what I've been doing is taking a little gouge, okay, a little smaller gouge, and just kind of scooping it out. And when you wet it, you can do this, okay? You can go ahead and scoop it out. I don't know if I can show you that. How you gotta kind of feel how the wood is going, but you can just go in there and gouge a little bit out and keep turning it and making it a clean sweep. Up here as well, I kept taking the knife across and scooping close to it until I cleaned it up a little bit. And there's still some more cleanup I need to do up in there, but for the most part I'm fairly happy with the way the inside of the boots and the inside of the hat is. Now you can make that deeper if you want, but I figured once it stands, you know, it will give it and you paint it darker, it's going to look fine. You know, so that's what we're doing there. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the heel, okay, of the shoe. So the first thing we need to do is determine where, let's see if I can find this, where the heel is. So we're going to try to do that at the same spot on both sides to make it even, okay? And I always measure with my finger. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little V cut up there. I'm going to do this, okay? I'm going to bring this front towards that, okay? And then we're going to just round off we're just going to take off a little bit first. Alright, go all the way around. We'll worry about his shoelaces later. Okay, so this is where that is, okay? And same thing over here, we're going to have to. We're going to bring this up and around. We're going to put that heel in there, or that sole of the shoes in. Okay, that already is at an angle. We're just cutting it a little bit at an angle all the way around. Okay, if it's a little too square, then cut some of it off, okay? Round it up a little bit more, but I usually have it going inward, okay? So that looks good. The front we're going to have to do some work on yet. But here's what we do. I'm going to take the spray again, just spray it real quick so it's nice and soft, because again we're working on the end grain. I'm going to take a parting tool, which would be, I'm going to take something that's a little bit larger. Sorry, let me find the right one here. Here's the one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around here and I'm going to just okay, that's not the one I'm looking for either. Hang on for a second. Oh, I guess this is the one I'm looking for. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this parting tool and I'm just going to go all the way around the edge of the boot at the bottom here, okay? To give it a sole to the boot, okay? Alright, see how that looks? Okay, it's pretty simple. As much, you can cut it in with a knife. If you want to cut it in with a knife, you put a little stop cut going across. Alright, going across, and then bring your stop cut up. So cut it across and then bring it up. But it's so much easier and more even with a parting tool or a V tool. Same difference. The only difference you want to be careful is that you don't stick that parting tool deeper than what the length of the tip is. In other words, when you work with this stuff, let's see if I can bring this up really nice and close for you. When you're bringing this up, alright, and you're cutting across, you don't want to go deeper than what the very edge, the length of, let me find a pencil and then I'll show you. The length, you don't want to go any deeper than what 1/2 of that V tool is. Because if you go deeper, it's going to rip, okay? It's going to rip your piece up. So, in other words, this is as deep as I can go. If I go any deeper, I'm going to catch that edge on that carving and I'm going to be ripping it apart. So when you do this, you just want to take it lightly first. You can always go back and recut it if need be, like I'm doing now. I just kind of follow it around. Alright, there you go. Excuse me. Alright, there we go. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do after I get this done, let me bring this back a little bit. I'm going to just take that hard edge off. Okay, this hard edge. I'm just going to kind of trim that off a little bit. Alright, so that's what he looks like so far. Alright, you can make that sole a little deeper if you want, or a little deeper, but the shoes are coming along. The boots are coming along pretty good. Alright. It's pretty hard to get in there. You can use a little gouge in there if you want. I try to tell people not to scrape, but sometimes you have to get stuff out of there. You want to get all the saw marks off as much as possible. Up here on the gun, we're going to round this little portion off here yet. Just take that hard edge off of there, just like so. We're not done with the trigger guard yet either, or the laces on the boots. We have a little more to go yet. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Alright. Alright, so he's looking good. Now, some of the carvings that I saw had a band around the top part of the like a band like this, okay, that holds, I don't know what it holds, to be honest with you, but I know it's got to be a reason it's there. Sure, one of you military guys can tell me what it's for. I think it's that either put the mesh on, or I have no idea. But there's a little bit of a lip here. We're going to put this on. I think that will look nice. Not sure how to paint it yet, because I've been looking that up, and the pattern is kind of different when it's a desert pattern. I have to look that up and see what we can come up with. Alright, so we're going to put that little band around there. Alright, and it's very lightly. It doesn't have to be anything super heavy. And the other thing we're going to do, I'll be back. We're running out of time. I'll be right back.